Join us as we meet the 2016 DoDEA Teacher of the Year, Mary Hansen, and celebrate the many contributions of DoDEA teachers. Coming up next in the chat room. Welcome to the chat room. I'm Frank O'Gara, your host today. The National Teacher of the Year program recognizes teachers for their dedication and contributions to the lives of military-connected children. The program also allows and encourages teachers to be educational leaders. With me in the studio is the 2016 DoDEA Teacher of the Year, Mary Hansen, a science, technology, engineering, math, or STEM teacher, and also an instructional coach at Crossroads Elementary School, Marine Corps Base Quantico. Welcome, Ms. Hansen.
Thank you, Frank.
It's really pleasure to have you, Mary.
Thank you. I'm
Mary,
excited
you've had
to
an
be
incredible journey.
Yes.
Okay, unbelievable. And I know that recently all of the state teachers of the year came here to Washington for what they call Washington Week, I think. Can you share a couple of highlights from that?
Oh, there's so many.
Where to begin?
Yes, I know, exactly. So as you said, we spent a week in Washington, D.C., and it started with a reception at the Vice President's home, where I don't think they knew what hit them as we all came in, hoping that we would get a chance to meet Dr. Jill Biden. But much to our surprise, in addition to that, the Vice President himself was there. And it was such a warm reception. The Vice President spoke about being married to a teacher and how he spoke to our spouses about what it means to be married to a teacher and how he understood all of the weekends and nights that are spent grading papers. And I think it really recognized the loved ones that we had brought with us and the sacrifices that they make when you're married to a teacher. And then Dr. Jill Biden addressed us specifically about the needs of the military child, and she really challenged every state teacher of the year to go back and to share the message with teachers in their state about how we need to make sure we know who those children are and are aware of their needs. We had a lot of incredible experiences, a day at the Smithsonian where they helped us with strategies on having global classrooms. ASCD sponsored every teacher of the year to make a video like this, where we got to go in and really talk about our platform and have a professional video made. And then, of course, the White House recognition. Being able to go into the White House and be honored by the President himself was an amazing, amazing experience.
Yeah, we all saw it on TV, but describe what it was like to be there.
Well, first off, the White House is just unbelievably beautiful, and we had a reception that lasted a few hours prior to meeting the President. So one of the highlights was I have a picture that I was able to take under the portrait of John F. Kennedy. And that was really special to see the actual original portraits, to have the White House band playing, and to have folks from the Department of Ed walking around and saying, thank you for being a teacher. But then to go in and have your moment with the President was just indescribable.
In the Oval Office?
Actually, it wasn't in the Oval Office because the weather was so bad that we needed to move to a different part of the White House. We used the state dining room and had to choose one of the libraries because it had to be moved inside, and they had invited so many people that we needed a larger venue. But it didn't matter that it wasn't in the Oval Office. And what was really special for me as being the Department of Defense Teacher of the Year, when I walked in and said, Mr. President, I told my students that I would be meeting you, and they asked me if I could bring back a presidential coin. And I'm thinking, no way, there's no way. But one of his aides found a coin that he presented to me in true military fashion. He shook my hand, put the coin in there, and he said, you need to make sure your students see this coin and know how special they are. I will never forget that, and I'm so excited to share it with them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to come back to recognition for teachers in general in just a minute, but when you were talking, I was thinking, is there a teacher in your past, in your life, that really got you interested in what you're doing today, that made a difference for you and where you are today?
There is. When I was in high school, I had a philosophy teacher. His name was Mr. McVeigh. And this gentleman would literally come in dressed as Aristotle or Plato and was crazy in a way, just made these dead philosophers come to life right before our eyes. And it was my favorite class because he challenged everything I knew about being a teacher and everything I knew about being a student. He would say, don't tell me what you've learned or read. How do you know it's true? How can you prove it to me? And he really got me thinking that if every teacher approach teaching that way, then every child would want to be in school and would learn. And so he is the reason I became a teacher, and he's the person I think of often when I'm looking at a lesson that just is not inspiring, and I think, how would Mr. McVeigh teach this? And that's all I have to do in order to turn it into something that really does bring it to life.
That's a great benchmark that stayed with you. Yeah,
it is.
wonderful,
I hope I can live
wonderful.
up to it.
Well, obviously you have a great passion for what we do. So can you talk a little bit about the sense of personal satisfaction that you get as a teacher, particularly a teacher of military-connected students?
Sure. I work with the best students in the world. I mean, every single day I get to teach the children of America's heroes. And I'm a military spouse. I have 2 military-connected children of my own. So from every ounce of my being, I know how important that is. And every day I know that I go in and in some way, shape, or form, I am touching the future. No day is the same. There's never a reset. It's always something new, always something different. But what is constant is that these children are going to really be the leaders of tomorrow. And I know that if I can help them learn how to think and problem solve and be globally connected and socially aware, then a little bit of me will go with them with those decisions that they make. So that's amazing.
It is amazing. When you talk about the future, today in school districts across the nation, we talk about college and career readiness. Okay, can you tell me why this is so critical for us at this juncture in American education?
You know, it's critical because we don't know what the jobs are that they're going to have to fulfill. We don't know what technology they're going to have to use or what information they're going to have to access. We do know they're going to have to be able to think. They're going to have to be problem solvers. So I can't prepare them for the specific skills that they will need in the future, but college and career readiness allows me to teach them how to think and access information and be a problem solver no matter what the job is that they're going to have to do. So it's more about the process of learning and helping them become lifelong learners so that when they do graduate from our schools and enter into a college or a career, they have the dispositions that they need to be successful. And that is something that we cannot afford to miss the mark on. We absolutely have to be sure our students are ready to be globally competitive in the future. And the only way to do that is from day one in schools right now to focus on the skills that they will need, not on just rote standards, but the process of being a lifelong learner.
And it's a huge responsibility for teachers.
It is. It is, and it changes the way that we have to teach. You know, I'm not a young teacher, and I had a set of skills and strategies that were working very well for me, but I realized I have to be growing as much as my students are growing. If I want them to be college and career ready, I have to reinvent who I am as a teacher in order to make space in my classroom for that new type of learning to happen. So it's really pushed us as teachers to be lifelong learners the way we want our students to be.
Well, when we talk about lifelong learning for teachers, talk a little bit about the role of professional development and the importance of it for teachers.
So if I were to teach the same way I did on day one when I graduated from college, if I thought that that was it and I could stay the same, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Hopefully I would have been long out of the classroom because teaching and learning has evolved over time and teachers have to evolve with that. And the only way that you can evolve and change is if you're continuously learning yourself. So DoDEA did something remarkable this year. The amount of investment that they put into the college and career readiness math standards rollout for our K-5 teachers has been unprecedented and certainly necessary and much appreciated from the teacher point of view because it's really helped give us the depth of knowledge that we need as educators to make these standards work for our students. But it's not enough just that. The other component of professional learning is the collaboration sort of networking that teachers do, where there might be a local problem and teachers create PLCs to actually implement something to solve that problem. So you have your formal layer that DoDEA is providing, but there's also a lot of student-driven, teacher-driven professional learning that happens as well. And I think when the two are in tandem, it makes for a pretty powerful program.
One of the many topics that people talk about today in American education is teacher preparation. Now, you and I both had the same alma mater, had the pleasure of going to the Lynch School at Boston College. If Mary Hansen was in charge of teacher preparation today, at any one of the teacher preparation colleges around the United States, what would the focus for teacher preparation be?
Ooh.
It's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I think teacher prep programs in general do a very good job at content, at helping the teachers learn the content that they're going to be teaching, but probably not as good of a job with the practice, giving them the experience that they need hands-on to implement this and to react to real-world situations with real children in a meaningful way. And so a lot of teacher prep programs, you get your one student teaching and you're done. You can't possibly learn everything you need to know to be a teacher in 5 months. And you just can't do that. So one thing would be to certainly elongate that process, to have teachers in real classrooms doing real work from day one of their program. I think you could look at extending student teaching to almost a full year mentorship or something, or even when you get into your first year of teaching that you're not fully certified teacher. You still need to continue to be under the tutelage of an expert teacher. We need a lot more hands-on experience because young teachers come in and they have the theory, but they really haven't had enough time to get their hands dirty with the practice. And I'm still learning, and I've been teaching over 20 years.
And like you said, it's constantly evolving, constantly evolving. If you had a chance to speak to college students who are contemplating whether or not they ought to go into teacher preparation, what would you say?
I would say, in the words of my friend Sean Sheehan, Oklahoma Teacher of the Year, teach like me. He started an actual campaign called Teach Like Me, where teachers need to step up and advocate for this profession. We can be our own worst enemy, and we can be our best advocate. It depends how we want to approach it. I am proud to be a teacher. I am excited to be a teacher, and my own daughter is actually in school right now studying to be an elementary educator, because there is nothing in the world that I would be more proud for her to do than to be a teacher. It is the future of America. It is an essential, important job, and I would tell everybody, if you want to be satisfied with the difference you've made in life, be a teacher.
Well said. I think we're going to put you on the road with that message. Mary, this, I think, the project that you've worked on as a Teacher of the Year fits right into this.
Yes.
Your Teacher Leadership Summit. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So one of the best kept secrets of being the DoDEA Teacher of the Year is that you are allowed to pursue a project of your interest or choice.
Now, you know, it's not a secret anymore.
Okay, well, I didn't know about this until, there were a lot of things I didn't know until I became Teacher of the Year. But the opportunity to take something either at the local level or DoDEA-wide, however you want to approach it, that you think is going to really make a difference. Well, I feel very strongly about teacher voice and teacher leadership and the importance of valuing what teachers do and giving teachers the freedom to impact the profession, impact their peers at a local level or even at a DoDEA-wide level. So my Teacher Leadership Summit project began with that intent to say, hey, we have these district teachers of the year all across DoDEA, but we're not utilizing them to their fullest potential. And they really are amazing, each and every one of them, in their particular content area or subject area, or maybe amazing just in their ability to work with others and to inspire change. So when I first presented this to both Dr. Curtis and Mr. Brady, I said, I'd like to bring them all in. Let's bring all the District Teacher of the Year to DC. Let's give them some intensive training on what it means to be a teacher leader. And let's send them back across DoDEA to support the college and career readiness rollout and to hopefully get some systemic change across our system from a grassroots effort, from the teachers leading it. And I cannot tell you the support I've received from headquarters saying, yes, we're going to do it. So in September, our 2016 and 2017 Teachers of the Year will be coming to DC, as well as 2013 and 15 DoDEA Teachers of the Year, Sarah Loomis and Danielle Massey, who have been my greatest mentors and supporters through this. And as a team, we are going to reinvent or as Mr. Brady called it, re-engineer the Teacher of the Year program to be so much more than a recognition program, to actually be a relevant powerful aspect of how DoDEA does business.
Wow, that sounds great, and we look forward to sharing what comes out of that with our teachers across the system.
Yes, I cannot wait.
Now, you will be the 2016 DoDEA Teacher of the Year. Of course, you'll be that person forever.
That's
but
right.
when do you pass the baton to the 2017 Teacher of the Year? Because that's often confusing for people in the field.
It's very confusing, and
Yeah.
I know it was very confusing for me when this happened. I am the 2016 Teacher of the Year for the entire calendar year, so I actually didn't begin my year of service until January, and I'll finish out in December. But because of the National Teacher of the Year program, and because all of those applications are due in November, we have to select our 2017 Teacher of the Year very early. And so I am hoping, I believe sometime in the next few weeks before school gets out, an announcement will be made as to who next year's Teacher of the Year will be. And we do it that way so that that person will have a solid 6 months to work on their National Teacher of the Year application, to do all of the groundwork that's necessary for it. And my role in that will be to help mentor them through this process to get them ready so that when they go on sabbatical next year and they become the 2017 DoDEA Teacher of the Year, they are ready to hit the ground running. And I've had some great mentors on my behalf, and I can't wait to pay it forward to whomever the wonderful educator is going to be that represents us next year.
Well, you're doing a great job, and we look forward to you continuing that through December, and then working with you, of course, in the future in many capacities. Mary, I'd like to end today just talking about recognition for teachers in general, because we know that the Teachers of the Year get some incredible recognition, as they should, for what they've done. But I've heard you say, and I've heard other Teachers of the Year say, that this isn't just about me, it's about the entire teaching workforce. So talk about teacher recognition in general and why it's important to appreciate and value what our teachers do in our classrooms every day.
It was interesting. I was at an event where Secretary of Education John King was speaking, and it happened to be during Teacher Appreciation Week. And something he said really struck me, so much that I actually tweeted it. And I'm not a big Twitter person, but I was inspired by his comments. He said, it shouldn't be Teacher Appreciation Week, it should be Teacher Appreciation Way. The way we think about teachers should be that we appreciate them every single day, not the first week in May. And he hit the nail on the head. Teachers work so hard, above and beyond. This is
for sure.
This is a calling. It's not a job, and oftentimes they are the brunt of negative commentary in the news, or they get blamed when anything doesn't go well or when there's a change in policy. And we need to remember, though, that it's the kids that matter, and the teachers are the ones in the front lines making the difference right there with those children. It's not the policymakers, it's not everybody else, it's the teachers. And it's a hard job, it's a challenging job, but it's a rewarding job in the same, at the same time. We need to appreciate what they do, we need to appreciate their professionalism and their ability to design learning experiences for children every single day that really are propelling our country forward. And remember to say, thank you. I appreciate you. I know it's hard, but you're doing a great job. Not just the first week in May, every day.
Agreed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mary, you've been absolutely wonderful to talk to today, and I've enjoyed working with you since January, and we'll look forward to working with you for the remainder of the year. I know that teachers and parents and students and military commanders and all of the folks in our communities who support our schools join me in thanking you for what you do every day and in congratulating you for the success that you're having as the DoDEA Teacher of the Year. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Frank. I appreciate it.
To learn more about the DoDEA Teacher of the Year program and to see photos from Mary's journey this year as the Teacher of the Year, visit our website at the URL below. I'm Frank O'Gara. See you next time in the chat room.